When did you realize that you were dating an idiot? Story 1. 1990, we lived in central Alabama. She told me that her and her best friend were going to Birmingham for the weekend. Didn't think anything of it, there's lots of shopping and things to do in Birmingham. Came over Sunday night to tell me how disappointed she was in the trip. They had driven through all the wealthier neighborhoods in Birmingham, Alabama for 2 days, trying to find a house that matched the gates to Ozzy Osbourne's house and never found it. He lives in Birmingham, England. Story 2. She walked into a computer lab on campus and simply picked up a computer and walked home with it. She was living with me at the time, so I got home to find a very familiar looking computer sitting on the kitchen table. She literally thought the computers were free for students. It took a bit of explaining to convince her that she stole the computer. I made her return the computer to the lab that night. She left it at the doorstep. Story 3. He thought you absorb a gallon of water when you shower, so he didn't need to drink water. Story 4. I once dated a girl who legitimately thought we lived inside the Earth. We were talking about SpaceX back when they were just starting to get more public attention. I mentioned something about how cool it was, we'll be able to potentially see humanity reach for the stars. Her response was something along the lines of, "Yeah, but how do they get to space?" Confused, I said, "With rockets, like in the video." She replied with something like, "Yeah, but don't we have to get outside the Earth first?" Dumbfounded, I asked for further clarification. She goes on to say, in a tone that suggests I am the idiot here, "We live inside the Earth, so how do we get out so that we can reach space?" I then inform her, "We live on the outside of the Earth. That's why you see open sky and stars and the sun, and not more Earth above you." She then laughs and states, "If we lived on the outside of the Earth, wouldn't we just fall off?" Still, as if I'm the idiot. My jaw dropped. I responded with a simple, "Gravity, the atmosphere," to which she says, "Oh yeah, that, haha, whatever, how was I supposed to know?" I asked if this was a joke. It wasn't a joke. She thought we lived in the Earth up until that moment. Where exactly in the Earth? I don't know. I'm afraid to know. I was speechless. She told me to never tell anyone, but we broke up years ago. I think it was for the best. Ask your partners whether they think we live on the inside or outside of the Earth, and reply to this to let me know. I'm curious. I've been bearing this weight alone for close to 10 years. I'd love to know if there are any other inner Earth dwellers unknowingly roaming the surface. I just want to comment on that story myself a bit. That one was horrible to record because I had to spend multiple times redoing it because I was trying not to laugh so much. That was definitely an interesting one. Story 5. When I asked her to hand me a knife in the kitchen and she threw it at me. And that's not even the stupidest part. When I tried to explain the basics of handing someone a knife or a pair of scissors, she refused to accept that what she did was wrong or unsafe. It was suddenly apparent that she couldn't possibly ever admit to being wrong. Thank you for listening to this video. Feel free to leave your stories in the comments.